I'm going to start by just showing you how you even get to Slack, and then I can kind of walk you through the background on the app. So this is a pre-existing flow that I have in this demo account. So how you access Slack is from this connections tab. So for any flow that you own, you go to the share sheet by clicking that share button up there, and then you'll see the option to connect Slack here. So who can connect to Slack? Anybody in your organization who is a member of a Slack account can connect their Slack to their flow. So it's not an admin permission. Admins, of course, if you're an admin for the Slack and you don't want Assembly to be used in your platform, you do have the power to go in and manually delete the app from your platform, but anybody in your platform can connect to Slack. And then what can you do with it? So we'll start just from this very first step. I've already connected this account previously to my Assembly Slack account. So if you click that connect button and you haven't set it up before, it will just prompt you to connect. You can choose the Slack account that you want to have. You can connect different workspaces for different flows. You can't connect a single flow to multiple Slack workspaces, so just one limitation there. So this is how you access it. You go to the share sheet, you choose a workspace, you connect to the workspace, and then this workspace is available across all of the other flows that you connect to. And so I'm going to back it up another second and just kind of go from scratch from this whole process. So one really great use case for the Slack app is publicizing in Slack all of the activity that that happens in your flow. So if you have a flow for company announcements, or a flow for daily stand-up, or a flow for weekly demos or volunteering that you want people to have visibility into in Slack, but it's managed and created through Assembly, this is a great way to connect as a visibility method. You can also use this app to prompt people within Slack to participate in your flows. So before this app, the way that people would get notified is 1, via email, 2, via mobile app notification if they have the mobile app installed, or just in the app if they're organically browsing and they go to my feed and they see that there's a flow to do here, which I don't have at this exact moment. But this is another way to prompt people and provide visibility into participation and really bolster engagement into your flow. Again, both on the participation end, but also on the viewing end. So some people just do their work in Slack, but Assembly is still a great place to house that information and just make it visible to people in Slack. So company announcements, how does that work? Let's do a quick demo on that. So we'll go here. We do have a company announcement template. Let's just use this. It's just one block that says, hey, this is what I want to announce. So let's use this template. So immediately you're taken into the share sheet. You may want to go in and make some adjustments to the flow, but let's say you're ready to share this flow. We'll go here. We'll connect to Slack. So this flow, one thing that you all should be aware of is to notify people to post in the flow has to have either be a scheduled flow or an on-demand flow, something that can be triggered for people to participate in. Company announcements is one that's just kind of it's organic. Whoever has an announcement to make, they're not going to be prompted to make this announcement. It's whenever the announcement happens. So that's why you'll see here, you can't choose a channel because it never notifies people to respond. So this is going to be a flow where where you can select the channel or channels that you want people to view these announcements. So I have this Join Assembly Slack account. I have this general channel. So you'll see here, there's nothing in it right now. So I'm going to go company announcements. I'm going to say, everyone, look at this company announcement. This is awesome. I'll post in here. What you'll see, this is how it will work. So you see the Katya Slack demo. We have this company announcement that got posted in here. Everybody who's in this channel will have visibility into this. Something that I should also mention is you can share with the channel. One easy way to get people into your Assembly account is by selecting the channel And then if you have invite permission, so that's something that you can configure in admin. If you have invite permissions, you can allow people to invite directly without needing request permissions. So as a user on this account, I am an admin. I do have invite direct permissions. I can, but because I selected this Slack channel, everybody who is in this Slack channel gets added to my assembly who is not already a member of the assembly. So it's a really easy way to invite people, but just also something to be mindful of, that when you select a channel and there are people in that channel who are not part of your assembly, they will get invited to your assembly, but only if you have invite direct permission. So if you have like a regular employee who doesn't have invite direct permissions, they will not invite everybody to the platform. So just as a safeguard for those of you who are concerned about people automatically inviting people who shouldn't get invited to the platform, I know we are on a per seat basis. Do not worry about that. It is only for people who have the permission to invite that they'll get added to the platform. People who don't, they will not get added to the platform, but they'll still be able to see the activity in the Slack channel. So that's just another thing to keep in mind, is if you select a channel for visibility, everybody in that Slack channel, whether or not they're a part of the assembly, is going to see the post. Now, if they're not part of the assembly, they can't go into assembly and do anything with that post, but they will still see the contents of that post, like I just showed you here. So if there are people in this channel not in assembly, they still see this, but if they click reply or view and post in assembly, they get blocked because they're not a member of your assembly yet. So just a little safeguard there. Okay, so I'm going to demo to you a daily stand-up flow now. So we go into templates, stand-up meeting. So something that our team used to do at Assembly is we'd have an actual stand-up meeting every single day. It would not be the most productive use of our time, especially if you're dealing with a team that's in multiple different time zones. It can just be a bit of a pain to coordinate a synchronous stand-up meeting. So this was a way for us to automate this process and provide visibility across the company, no matter where you live and which time zone you're in, about what you're working on during the day. And then before we had this Flow Slack app, we were actually setting up a manual trigger in Slack that linked to this flow in assembly. So it wasn't when the flow was triggered, it was just, we decided every day at 9 to have this reminder. But again, that's not the same time zone as everybody else is in. So let's use this template. So same thing. I'm going to just go to the connections tab. I'm going to use the same demo channel. So this, you'll see that this is not grayed out now. So because this is a triggered flow, I'm going to make this on demand just for the sake of this demo. So this is a scheduled one. That's typically like you pick the scheduled, but for the sake of this, we'll just keep it on demand. And then we'll go to share. And we go to connections, connect. Let's use the Katya test again. Oops, wrong assembly. Done. Okay. So these channels have been selected. You can select multiple channels, by the way, and you can, there is no limit on that. So if you want these results to go into a leadership channel, you can. If you want the results to go into your team's channel, you can. It doesn't have to be one Slack channel per flow. It can be as many as you'd like. So let's first demonstrate how we trigger the flow. We do run now. Then we get this, and I'll show you in just a second what happens. So you'll see my Slack went to a 1 here. So our app will actually alert you here to post, but also back in this Katya test channel. It also alerts everybody in the channel to see this, but it's only visible to you. So it's not going to like clutter up the thing. It's just visible to you. And then in the apps, you'll also get that here. So you can access it both from the channel directly, and you can get like a historical record of all of the participation notifications from the Assembly app in this app section. So once you've been notified, and again, if I want to remind you to do it, I can. And that will also generate another prompt. So this will prompt everybody who hasn't answered the flow yet to answer it directly within Slack. So Just a reminder here, you'll see that there's two, one for the initial one and one for the reminder, and also in Katya's Slack demo. So what does this look like? I go to here, I go to post. We currently don't support participating from directly within Assembly. There are some blocks that we have that don't map directly to some of the functionality that Slack provides. So it takes you into this participation experience. I feel a 5, test, and then let's do a GIF. It's kind of how I feel. Oh, actually, let's do 2 GIFs. All right, so posted in stand-up meeting. It's visible in here. You will also see it in Katya's Slack demo. So every time that somebody in your flow answers it, it will get posted in the Slack channel for that meeting, or for that stand-up. So a great way for you to remove the need for these synchronous meetings if those meetings don't serve you, and a way for you to just have full visibility across the team. And then again, you could put it in leadership as well, or some other channels, engineering, or whichever you feel. That's how it will look from start to finish, participation to visibility. So I'm going to show you an existing flow that we have for weekly demos. Weekly demos is something that we used to have, again, a standing meeting where everybody on the team would go to demo. But again, we work across different time zones. Some of us have different shifting timelines and times that we work. So it just was not something that we felt the need to keep a standing meeting for. So instead, we turn this into a weekly demos. And another thing that this has really empowered us to do is we don't wait till 1 day per week to do these demos. Our team pushes out consistent demos almost on the daily, just as a way to kind of show what you're working on, get feedback repeatedly. Again, if we don't have the opportunity to do this synchronously. Now, we still do synchronous reviews, but I'm talking like company-wide demos between, a team in one country and a team in another, a way to get asynchronous feedback on demos. It's probably my favorite flow that we have. So I'm going to show you what our actual weekly demo looks like. We have this flow here. We have all of these posts from our team that you can go back and look at any time you want. It's fantastic. And what this also does is we have a channel for weekly demos, and all of these weekly demos get posted in here. So this is just a great way to, if I'm living in Slack, I'm having a conversation in Slack, I'm in a huddle, I'm doing whatever, I can be alerted that there's a new weekly demo for me to check out, just, in case I'm not checking my email, in case I don't see it in Assembly. There's just a bunch of ways to provide visibility, and you can see it right here, and then, access it in Assembly at any time. I swear by this flow. It's my all-time favorite, and one that I would highly recommend people who have technical teams or just teams that have really cool things to demo. It can be a sales team. It can be, marketing, like anyone that has a demo. This is not just for engineering. This can be anything that you want to share with your company. So love, love, love this flow. The last one I'll demonstrate is like a getting to know you, or like an about us flow. That is, well, actually, let's do a volunteering one. I think volunteering is great. This can also work for an about us flow or getting to know someone, but volunteering is something that might be something really cool to show in a general channel, or like a volunteers of your company channel in Slack. So let's look at a volunteering one. So just 2 blocks, share an image of your volunteer experience and describe your experience. I don't know if I have a great image to show, so let's just take a screenshot of this. Okay, so I'm just going to connect it to the same Slack channel. This is an answer anytime flow, so there's no trigger to prompt you to answer this. This is like, oh, I volunteered today. Let me post about this in Assembly. You can make this an on-demand, say you just had or you can make it scheduled, say you just had a volunteering event and you want to prompt everybody who volunteered to participate. You can make this flow a scheduled flow, but for the sake of this demo, again, why this is grayed out is because the flow does not have any sort of a trigger. So let's do Katya. Oh, sorry, it's defaulting to this other one. Katya, Slack demo, done. So this will show you just kind of what an image looks like in Slack. I don't have a great image because you just saw me take that very boring screenshot, but let's just do this. Demoing how to use Flow's Slack app. Great. So you can have videos, you can have images, you can have multiple videos and images. This is just a great way for people to share their volunteering experience in a visual way. Now, if you go into this, you'll see the image right here in Slack. So we make the images super presentable. We make GIFs presentable. You know, it's fully visual. There's no need to expand or anything like that. It's just all right there for you in your channel. So I demoed to you everything that's in the in one singular channel for the sake of this demo, especially because I'm using my main account. So again, you can put it in as many channels as you want, and you can put it in private channels as well. The one thing that you have to do for a private channel is you have to go add the Slack app to that channel before you can find that in that list. So all public channels are available, but if you have a private channel that you want to include, you just have to go in and add the app to that specific private channel. And I can show you that on a different Slack account. So really quickly, let me make a private channel. Test channel. Next, private, create. Let's just do this. Okay, so you can go into add apps. Oops, sorry, I have to go to that channel. Integration, add an app. Install. This is how you go to add it. So add it to the private channel, and then you can select that channel from that list of channels in the dropdown. So just an FYI there.